regarding UN, the way Israel, Gaza and things are in bad shape about international affair, and some people propose that it's a failure of UN, and there are some chances of proposal to for India to be a member of Permanent Security Council, and some people, academic, have proposed that UK should cede its membership in favor of India, and second option is there should be 7 members with veto power, or next 7 members without veto power. The third is as regular 7 members to be regularly elected for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. So why not to be assertive about this UN Security?
मैं आपको जवाब दूं.
Thank you, sir.
Let me start. आपका जो पहला सवाल जो था, देखिए हमारे यहाँ आजकल हर राजदूतावास में, हर उच्चायुक्त में एक कल्चरल सेंटर है. ये पिछले दशक में ये परिवर्तन आया है, और हर जगह जो है हमारे यहाँ से प्रयास तो जरूर होता है कि कम से कम योगा का टीचिंग, जो अगर कोई भाषा है, हिंदी, संस्कृत, तमिल, जो भी है, और जो हमारे नृत्य जो हैं, डांस वगैरह जो हैं, इनकी टीचिंग हो. अब इसके अलावा कुछ सेंटर्स हैं जहां या तो हमारी समुदाय बड़ी है या वहां भारत के बारे में रुचि इतनी ज़्यादा है कि हमने छोटे सेंटर को और बड़ा बनाया है. जैसे आप ये नॉर्मली कुछ रूस जैसे जगह या यूके है या कुछ और हैं ऐसे. अब इसमें जो नया इनिशिएटिव जो आया है, जो प्रधानमंत्री ने हम लोगों को ये निर्देश दिया है कि हम तिरुवल्लुवर सेंटर जो है दुनिया में स्थापित करें. तो मुझे लगता है कि पहला सेंटर कुछ ही दिनों में कहीं एक देश में हम जरूर इसको स्थापित करेंगे. तो जो आप कह रहे हैं, मैं जरूर मानता हूं कि आजकल दुनिया में भारत के बारे में जिज्ञासा ज़्यादा है, और इंटरनेशनल डे, योग दिवस के बाद जो है लोगों के मन में है कि भारत में कुछ ऐसी, जैसे आपने कहा कि कुछ ज्ञान है, कुछ ध्यान है, कि कुछ सीखने को है. तो ये है जरूर, और हम जरूर इसको हम मानते भी हैं. अब इसको हम कैसे अपनी ओर से इसको कैसे आगे बढ़ाएं, ये जरूर हमारे मन में है. और मुझे लगता है जो आईसीसीआर जो हमारे लिए एक किस्म से व्यवस्था है ये करने के लिए, ये आईसीसीआर एक अपने आप को एक किस्म से मॉडर्नाइज कर रही है इस चुनौती को आगे ले जाने के लिए. जो दूसरा सवाल जो है आपका, जो योर क्वेश्चन ऑन गुड गवर्नेंस, पीपल लिव इन डिफरेंट टाइम्स. यू नो, during Sardar Patel's time, we had just come out of the partition. You know, the country was really traumatized, because when partition happened, nobody really saw what it would mean on the ground, the bloodshed that happened, and the disruption that happened. Now, if you look at Atalji's time, what had happened at that time was that the original socialist model had created a crisis in 1991. We were rebuilding after that. Many decisions had been put up. So I would say Atalji in many ways would be particularly remembered because, one, he took the long delayed decision on nuclear, exercising the nuclear option. But what people appreciate less, he was a big economic reformer. That if you look at the economic numbers of that period, they are really very, very impressive numbers. So there would be comparisons, there would be changes during, even in Jammu and Kashmir, which was your particular focus, the situation in 1950, situation in 1998, 99, and situation today in 2024 is very different. So my sense is, every Prime Minister, tries to improve governance. After all, that is part of the responsibility you have. Some have a greater focus, a greater, I would say, grip, a stronger sense. I mean, if you look at the present Prime Minister, the kind of emphasis which he puts on training, and the kind of feedback mechanisms that we have, the degree of rigor, as someone who started many years ago, I mean, the Prime Minister when I started my career was Morarji Desai. So when I look from there to today, honestly, the rigor and the the workload and the expectation of people in government has gone up. And I think in many ways the kind of delivery expectation in society, people are not willing to wait the way they would have waited 10 or 20 years ago. Society has become impatient in this country, and rightly so in many respects. Your question, जो आपका जो था UN के बारे में, look, we are not waiting for the failure of UN to reform UN. The UN needs to be reformed because it is 80 years old. And when UN was formed, there were 51 members and all 51 were not free. We were one of the founding members. Today there are 193 members. So imagine if something has changed from 51 to 193. How can the management remain the same? It doesn't make any sense. So, and if you look at the major, the economic hierarchy, that has also changed. So, people will come up with this idea that inko nikalo, inko dalo. See, nobody will willingly yield their position. That's the reality. But there is a negotiation going on called the Intergovernmental Negotiation, IGN process. The pressures within the UN. We just had a summit of the future. So, in the summit of the future, there was a much greater sense that, look, we have to do something today about changing the UN. So I think the pressures will go, and at some stage it will grow to a point where it will be impossible for the people who are currently trying to stop it from continually stopping it. The question you had on opportunities in the Middle East. See, the Middle East is not opportunity. Middle East is a cause of great concern, deep worry. The conflict is widening. What we saw as a terrorist attack, then the response, then we saw what happened in Gaza, now we're seeing it in, Lebanon, exchange of between Israel and Iran, the Houthis firing on the Red Sea. This is actually costing us. It's not that somebody is neutral and you benefit. Shipping rates have gone up, insurance rates have gone up, foreign trade is being affected, oil prices have gone up. Day before yesterday, the markets tanked after the Iranian missile attack. So, conflicts can be opportunistically used. I don't deny that, but I think in a globalized world which is so tight, conflict anywhere actually creates problems everywhere. And, some supply of some kind will get affected by this. So, I would say, honestly today, whether it is the conflict in Ukraine or the conflict in the Middle East, West Asia, these are big factors of instability, big factors of concern. I think the entire world, including us, we are worried about it, and we are trying to see at least where we can make a difference and do what we can. On the efficiency side, in this government actually there is, in a sense, a commission which has looked at making bureaucracy more competitive, making it more sharp in a way. There is something called Mission Karmyogi. The whole idea is that it should not, the bureaucracy should not be a escalator. That, there should be training, there should be performance evaluation, there should be a kind of a right fit for the right job. I think all of that is happening, and I would say, having spent most of my working life in the bureaucracy, I can see today, and in our case, the service which I was a member of, it's in a sense a one service ministry. So you have the opportunity of coming back to it again and again and looking at people in the same environment. I can see changes very frankly for the better. I think people are far more competitive and in a sense far more willing to do things, and to me that's a source of great encouragement. So the last question, it's a very interesting question because in the late 40s and early 50s, there were big issues, and some of them pertain to Sardar Patel, some of them, to people like Rajendra Prasad. Issues like, for example, RSS did sterling work during the partition.